It was match 61 of the Indian Premier League 2025, a night that should belong to the Lucknow Super Giants, a night that promised a revival, redemption, and a push for the final playoff spot. Instead, it turned into a nightmare that no fan in Lucknow will forget anytime soon. The setting was familiar. The bar at Ratna Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee Canna Cricket Stadium in Lucknow, draped in blue and gold, packed with hopeful fans waving flags and shouting chants. There was still a sliver of hope left for the Super Giants. A win tonight would keep their playoff dreams alive. Lose, and they would be officially eliminated. But hope is a fragile thing, and on this night it broke. Before we talk about how the game unfolded, it's important to understand what was at stake. The IPL 2025 table was in chaos. Gujarat Titans had already punched their ticket to playoffs. Royal challengers Bangalore and Punjab Kings had done just enough to seal their spots as well. That left one seat, one coveted place in the top four. Three teams were jostling for it: Mumbai Indians, Delhi Capitals, and Lucknow Super Giants. Mumbai had the best net run rate. Delhi had the flair. And Lucknow, they had grit. What they lacked in momentum, they made up for in urgency. This was their chance to rise. And yet, it all came crumbling down in a matter of overs. Lucknow won the toss and chose to bat. A bold decision. The pitch at Canna wasn't known for easy scoring, but perhaps they believed that scoreboard pressure would do the trick. They wanted to strike first and strike big. And in the first innings, that's exactly what it looked like. Mitchell Marsh was sensational. From the first over, he played like a man with a mission. Cuts, pulls, drives down the ground. He looked in complete control, unfazed by pace, undisturbed by spin. Every shot pierced the infield like a guided missile. At the other end, Aiden Markram played the anchor role. It wasn't flashy, but it was vital. The pair worked in tandem, rotating strike, punishing anything short, and pushing the total steadily upward. Their partnership gave the innings momentum, and their dismissals didn't slow it down either. Nicholas Pooran chipped in with a brisk cameo. Ayush Badoni struck a few elegant boundaries, and by the end of 20 overs, LSG had posted a formidable 205 for 7, the highest ever total recorded in the IPL at this venue. The crowd roared. The dugout looked confident. Rishabh Pant, the captain, even cracked a smile. It was a total they believed in, a total that could finally turn the tide of a frustrating season. But T20 cricket doesn't always reward good plans. Sometimes it celebrates chaos, and chaos arrived in the form of Abhishek Sharma. The Sunrisers Hyderabad had nothing to lose. Their campaign had fizzled out weeks ago, but they still had pride to play for, and pride can be powerful, especially when it's paired with raw talent. The chase began quietly. The first few overs were uneventful, cautious even. But then came the onslaught, sudden, brutal, and completely unexpected. Abhishek Sharma unleashed an attacking masterclass that stunned everyone watching. It wasn't just the number of boundaries he hit. It was the way he dismantled Lucknow's bowling attack. Spinners were lofted with ease. Pacers were driven, pulled, and flicked as if they were net bowlers. There was a confidence to his batting that bordered on arrogance. But the good kind, the kind that makes a statement. The crowd, once so vocal, went silent. The only sound was the thud of the bat, the crack of boundaries, and the distant cheer of SRH fans who couldn't believe what they were seeing. Sharma brought up his half-century in no time, and though his innings was brief, it changed everything. When he eventually fell for 59, the momentum was firmly with Hyderabad. The scoreboard pressure that Lucknow had hoped would build never arrived. The bowlers lost their rhythm, the fielders their spark, and the entire energy of the stadium shifted. Heinrich Klaassen took over the reins with ruthless calm. He didn't try to replicate Sharma's fireworks. Instead, he played smart cricket, targeting gaps, running hard, punishing the bad balls, and keeping the chase on track. Lucknow tried everything: spin, pace, field changes, bowling from wider angles. Nothing worked. Klaassen and the SRH middle order simply kept coming. Over after over, the required run rate dropped, and with every passing minute, so did the hopes of an entire city be by the 18th over. It was clear this wasn't just a chase. This was a demolition. The final shot was struck, a 6 over long on, and with that, Sunrisers Hyderabad had chased down 205 in just 18.1 overs. The second innings wasn't even close. LSG's biggest ever total at home had just been wiped out with 11 balls to spare. The camera zoomed in on the LSG dugout. The players were shell-shocked. Rishabh Pant sat with his head down, hands clasped together, eyes staring at the grass. He looked like a man who knew the season had just ended. There were no words, no excuses as to would it all go wrong. On paper, Lucknow had a balanced team. Marsh, Markram, Purin, all match winners. Their spin attack had been effective all season. But their biggest flaw was one that's hard to measure: temperament in the big moments. The critical overs at the death, the turning points during tight chases, they faltered. They lacked that one player who could stand up and seize control. They had built totals. They had shown flashes. But they never finished teams off. Injuries didn't help. Mohsin Khan's absence was a big blow. Mark Wood, who had been bought for his raw pace, missed several games. The team had to shuffle its combinations too often, and continuity suffered. After the match, Pant faced the media. He didn't blame anyone. He didn't talk about the pitch or the dew or the toss. He simply said, "We didn't execute. And when you don't execute in this league, you lose. That's all there is to it." It was a hard truth, and one that marked the end of the road for LSG in IPL 2025 for Sunrisers Hyderabad. The win was bittersweet. They were already out of the playoffs, but in this one match, they showed what they were capable of. Abhishek Sharma's innings became the talking point of the evening, not just because of the shots he played, but because of what it meant. This was more than just another young Indian batter playing a good knock. This was a potential future star, demanding the attention of selectors and fans alike. This was a coming-of-age performance that will be remembered not just for the impact it had on the match, but for how it shaped the IPL narrative. Abhishek has been around for a few seasons now. But this year, he's looked different, sharper, hungrier, more mature. Earlier this season, he had already recorded the highest score by an Indian in IPL history. And now he had delivered again in a high-stakes match on a tough pitch against a desperate side. He's not just in form. He's making a name. And now, with LSG eliminated, the focus shifts to the last battle for playoffs. One spot remains, and it's between two giants, Mumbai Indians and Delhi Capitals. Mumbai, with 14 points, are in pole position. They have experience, depth, and a champion's mindset. Rohit Sharma has led them through many pressure situations. But Delhi aren't out yet. They're at 13 points, and a big win in their final game could swing things their way. It's set to be a thrilling finish, one where net run rate, pressure, and pure skill will decide who survives and who bows out at IPL 2025 has been a roller coaster. Each team has had its moment of glory and heartbreak. New stars have emerged. Old legends have shown flashes of brilliance. And through it all, the league has once again proven why it's the most watched cricket tournament on the planet. For the Lucknow Super Giants, this season will be remembered not for what they achieved, but for what they failed to finish. For Sunrisers Hyderabad, the win may not change the points table, but it changes their narrative. And for fans, the drama continues, because the IPL never sleeps. It simply shifts gears as we look ahead to the final league matches. One truth remains. In the Indian Premier League, anything can happen, and usually does.